All right. All good to go.
All right, I'm doing my intro, and then I'll get you, okay?
Okay.
Welcome to the Keep Going podcast, where we feature athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, all walks of life. And what we have going on today is a special episode. So today we have a special guest, hailing from, where are you from? Where are you from?
Long Beach.
Hailing from Long Beach, California, standing at 5'9". Adam, my
Hey, what's
serial
up?
entrepreneur. So many things that are so special about you. I've been watching you and working with you the last 2 years. I just gotta say, it's a blessing to watch everything that you're doing and see what you're building. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I like the intro. I hype myself up. I hype you up. Good
Yeah,
vibes.
you gotta get it.
So, you're a serial entrepreneur. I kind of want you to give the people at home an idea of like just what space you're in. What does that mean to be a serial entrepreneur? Like, what are you in?
I through a series of just trials and tribulations, I kind of gone through and through the journey is just I've actually expanded to multiple different scenarios and multiple different industries, but they all somehow, some way, kind of connect together, right? So I originally started in
So it's vertical integration.
yeah, it's vertical integration, right? So a lot of times, like my very first thing of getting into it is the foundation is a lot of it has to do with marketing, right?
Yeah.
So it is, marketing and media buys and Facebook marketing, social media marketing, all that stuff. And the category that I was really big in was the health and beauty products, right?
Yep.
So muscle supplements, weight loss, and all that stuff, right? Because I've always been in that kind of field.
Right.
Um,
But how did you get into that field though? Like,
I, the,
give us a little more background.
okay.
Okay, because you're just not a serial entrepreneur unless you're doing lemonade stand and whatever. But
It started all the way from I think it was 17, 18. The funny thing is, I know we're at your facility right now, and in Orange County, and the owners here are actually friends with even my old friends, or they're still my friends, and we've been business partners for a very, very long time. I think I was 18 when they were doing 21 and over clubs, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's how I kind of really started in marketing, because at that time we were trying to market the nightclubs here in Orange County, right? So the way that we were doing marketing was that back then it wasn't Facebook. We had MySpace, right?
Oh.
MySpace and Asian
Just
Apple.
Asians,
Yeah, and all these different things. And then Facebook was still new, but I mean, the way it was
what was the most popular song back then?
Dude,
Buy You a Drink, T-Pain?
yeah, it had to be T-Pain. Something with a stripper, something along those lines. But it was really funny because we used to do multiple different accounts, and the way I'm talking about different accounts is you would have 5 to 7 laptops across the board or on the table, and you would message from one laptop to another.
Wow.
And so that you're creating multiple different scenarios, right? You're talking to all these different people. Nowadays we can do it all from one phone, but back then we were actually doing these guerrilla marketings of just social media. That's kind of sparked my whole thing in marketing. And over time, just understanding that particular market, it became a skill set that I then started bringing into my everyday life, right?
Yeah.
And understanding where it can go into. And through a series of things that happened in my life, I was in cell phones and stuff like that, but I wanted something different. And I had met, my first mentor, and he was actually in the lead gen space, lead generation.
Can you tell everybody why it's important to have a mentor?
Hey, so for me, the mentorship and understanding, it's a different aspect, it's a different relationship. The one thing that I made, the best move that I ever made, or decision I ever made, I said, I will never work for a boss again. I want to work for a mentor. The mentorship and understanding somebody and really trying to dig down and dig deep into it, it goes both ways, right? And it's a relationship that you build, and you have to understand that there is somebody that's always somewhere has that path or understands that path before you.
Right.
And it's almost, it's been there. They've been there, and it's understanding and giving them a respect, and they're once they can. And the funny thing is, true mentors want mentees.
Yes.
And it's actually a reciprocal thing, because you really think about it, it's like, just think of it this way. If there is no villain, there is no hero.
Yeah.
You have to have one or the other, right?
Yeah.
So if there's no mentee, there is no mentor.
Yeah.
Right? So for them to be able to pass this knowledge on, and this has like been through the ages of like how we, even as a society, things are passed on through stories, they're passed on through experience, they're passed on through all these different things, right? That's what mentorship really is. If you really think about it.
Right.
We just think of mentorship mainly in the business aspect.
Right.
But if you really think about it, like, mentorship could be anything. It's just passing the knowledge along. Right? And so my very first thing is that I was trying to find mentorship inside of business, non-entrepreneurship, and understanding that, because I didn't know how else to kind of go about that, right? And really understand, because like you couldn't learn these things in a book.
Right.
Right.
Especially during
During those times. And so like when I say during those times, is because when I first started with the company in like the early 2010, 2011, lead generation, online marketing wasn't a big thing. Like in our generation or my generation, like we knew dial-up, right? So we understood, like that's when we heard, like you would hear you could use the phone during the time when you're on the internet, right? Now it's different, but we were going through that. So it was all new to us. It's a new field. And even like understanding that new field is like, it's actually kind of nerve-wracking to kind of break into it, right? So with all that being said, as I was trying to find these new fields, I was also looking for mentorship, right? And I came across a mentor and became a great friend of mine. I still call brother. He taught me everything in the lead gen space when it comes to financial. We were doing leads, like lead generation for like real estate, mortgages, like all this stuff for Experian. Doing that for a bit, and I mean, it's great. I learned the industry, but I'm not truly a finance. It doesn't intrigue me. Right.
It get you going.
It doesn't get me going. It's like cool. It's like yeah, you can sell real estate, you can sell mortgage, but that wasn't like my thing, right? So I was doing that, ran the company. It was great because when I was talking to him, I literally when I interviewed with him, I told him, I go, I don't want to work for your company unless I receive mentorship. I'm looking for a mentor.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I said it straight to him. And he looked at me and I was like, and he goes, what do you want? I go, one day I want to run the company for you. Right? But
that's long-term thinking.
Yeah.
A lot of people have short-term thinking. They just want a paycheck or they want a payday. And they're not thinking about all the options, opportunities, and touches of favor that they can have in their life if they have a mentor, finding that person that's sitting in a situation that they want to be in, and asking them for help, the guidance, having the heart of the teacher, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
That way you can go build something bigger and better beyond.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I asked him right there in the interview. It was so funny. We were just like, the interview was supposed to be like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I think we geeked out for like at least 2 hours talking about just random stuff. Not just random stuff, but like our history and all that stuff. So I mean,
we're bonding.
Yeah, we're bonding, and he did exactly what he said he was gonna do. He told me, hey, I'm gonna teach you everything under the sun. He put me in every single position inside his company for 3 to 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is, because he was giving me and letting me learn each aspect of it, each part of his business. And then later on, that's what happened. I started learning, started running his business with a counterpart. And that kind of led me down the path, and I ran into a high school friend of mine at one of these shows. Just our paths crossed, right? And so at that time, when I was speaking to him, it just happened to be that his brother-in-law was like this, huge staple in the .com space, like this huge, just like, call it a guru, call it whatever, in the health and beauty space. So he's a staple in the name. He created courses to teach other advertisers how to build their products, how to do all these different things. And this was back in, I think he did his first course in like 2012.
Oh, wow.
Right?
He's ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he's ahead of the curve. So now you see some classes and those things. but he had these things back in 2012, and so he started to develop that, and he was in the health and beauty space. And I say health and beauty means like weight loss, muscle supplements, all these different things. And at that time, Facebook marketing was just blowing up, right? And
Sweet spot.
Yeah, sweet spot. So it was just literally blowing up. People just didn't understand it. I met with him multiple times, and he asked me what like I wanted, and I repeated to him the same thing I said to my my first mentor. I said, I'm looking for a mentor, right? I will work for a mentor. I will never work for a boss, because the thing is, my mentor, and he's still a brother to me. Like, we still talk all the time. And so when I was telling him, I go, for me to grow, or for me to move, or even to go to a different company, it has to be exponential, and it has to be mentorship in something that I'm looking for.
But for the people at home, like, how do you find a mentor? Because there's some people who are like, well, I don't know how to get a mentor. What would you tell them if you want somebody?
Here's the one thing I would say is mentorship. First thing, that for you to get a mentor, the only thing you really got to do is ask, right? The reason why you have to ask is, again, mentors need mentees, right? So a true mentor, their main goal is to, like, mentorship to others, regardless of what it is, right? Regardless if it's personal, like your personal life, your, what you call it, professional life, anything, even like with fitness.
But how do they ask though? Like, what's the give me 2 tactical steps. Like,
2 tactical steps.
Well, if somebody lives across the country, I don't know what to do. What should I do?
Well, there's several ones, right?
Yeah.
So the very first thing is you have to see how you align with them. You do your research, right? Because and really see how the core values and the morale and all that stuff kind of goes in, right? And what do you truly want from that particular person? What do you value? Because there is 2 types, right? When I say there's 2 types, is that I could admire somebody, but also I can be jealous of somebody. And those 2 things can be the same, right? What I mean by that is you can walk up to a mentor and you can say, please teach me. I either I respect you as a mentor, and that's why I want you to teach me, or I want what you have, that's why you want to teach me. Right?
Okay, that makes sense.
There's just 2 different things. It's like, I want your lifestyle, so then that's why I'm trying to be a mentor. I want you to be my mentor. Or, no, I respect what your message is, what your impact in this world is. That's why I want you to be my mentor. Right? True mentors will know the difference.
Right.
They'll see it. And if you truly believe that you want to be a beacon of their impact to spread, they will see that too, right? If someone came to me and said, hey, I just want to do good, right? I don't know how, I don't know where, I just need to do good, right? And I want to spread, the joy and also just knowledge. And it goes in the same factor of like what reciprocal in the world is. So let's say, for instance, if I was to mentor somebody, that mentee needs to have a mentee as well.
Right.
Because the impact of a mentor, they want it to be, if you think about it, it's almost like a ripple effect, right? The reason why they'll mentor somebody, the key attribute, is if you're going to share that knowledge. Like, that's what they look for. Because what they're looking for is like, hey, if I train one person, will there be a ripple effect that will affect multiple other people?
And even further, you might plant seeds of trees that you might never sit under.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that is not talked about enough too.
Yeah, and that's...
It's like a legacy you're found of mentorship.
And that's what really true legacy is. It's not... I truly think legacy does not sit in wealth, right? Because you think about it, you put, I don't know, millions away, inflation goes up, everything goes up, it's monetary, it just goes, it flattens out anyway, right?
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, like, over time that money doesn't, it's not really true legacy. But if you can teach and you can show a particular core belief or style and morale in teach that to the kids of the next generation, your kids, and impact multiple people in your circle, and they impact their kids, the ripple effect continues. You can change generations, right?
And that's literally what you're doing right now.
Yeah, because the one thing that and I was just talking to Austin, like the guys over here, like for me, having kids at a later age, right, has helped me a lot because, what I remember is, I always was afraid to have kids because to juggle those things. I didn't understand how to be a serial entrepreneur and be a great father.
And that was one of your dreams to establish yourself, build wealth, and run your business.
Yeah.
Like, you want to sacrifice. Because you'll slowly die if you sacrifice your dreams.
Yeah.
So those people that get married very young, they kind of throw some stuff out the window.
Yeah.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and so that's how I actually came, and I had a true conversation with my brother and mentor now, and now my business partner, right?
Yeah.
All the same person. And my thing to him was, I go, I'm at a stage where I feel as though financially and professionally, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I need a mentor in my personal life.
Yeah.
I need to know how to juggle, like being a good father, not just a father, a good father,
Right.
run multiple businesses, and be a good husband, and be a good friend, right? And be a good son, like all the things that like I truly believe that makes a man, right?
What's one of the things that you can accomplish to cover all your bases, to be a good father, to be a good husband, to be a good businessman? But what's one of the things that you learn that you can put upon that?
Okay. So the one thing, and it's funny because I was just talking about this just the other week, and it goes back to like we won Entrepreneurship of the Year for our company and all, and he used this same exact speech on stage, and the key sentence is care with a capital C, right? And that means like in every situation that you're in, to truly care for that actual, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and be present and actually care. Because
I got a call. It's great now because great example of this. I hit him up to be on the show a couple times, but it was on the weekend, and I know he hit me back with a response. He was utilizing the capital C of caring by spending quality time with quality people, aka his family. So his priorities were aligned with what he wanted. By using that capital C to care.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, what I mean by that is like it's your non-negotiable.
Yes.
It's your non-negotiable, right? And
I think he literally texted me.
yeah, and the thing is this is like it's my non-negotiable, right? And so, perfect example. The very first thing my brother taught me is my business partner, mentor. He said to me, and I was like kind of surprised about it because we were in the middle of a meeting, and it was like 5:30, right? And I was working for his company. He's the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company. And I'm sitting there, we're talking about something really, really important. And I see him start cleaning up. I'm like, okay. In the middle of the meeting, starts cleaning up, gets his laptop, puts it into the bag. He's like, walk with me. So I'm like walking with him, and we're not even finished with the meeting yet. And then I'm like, what's going on? He goes, I gotta get home. And then I go, why? What happened? And I'm kind of stressed because I thought something happened at his house. He's like, no, I have to be home for dinner. Right? And I go, what? And he goes, that's a non-negotiable with my family. I have to be home every day for dinner. And he goes, that's the thing. Right? So we're like rushing home, and that's the one big thing that for him to do. And that was the same for me. So I started to see all these aspects. So like, why that became funny, because we have it actually becomes very funny because we have like new business partners. We talk to them. They try to invite us out for dinner. I'm like, sorry, can't. We can do lunches. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, we don't do dinner. We don't go out to dinner. And then they're like, wait, what? And I go, the only time we'll do dinner is if it's like couples with our wives. And like if you have a wife, we can do that, but we can't just go us to go to dinner. Right? And it's just a non-negotiable. And that's the same thing for like the weekend, right? once in a while, if it's like a really big thing, I can understand. But for the most part, my weekends is for my kids.
No, that's a beautiful thing. And so, okay, Adam, Sarah Entrepreneur, he's in the home and wellness space, the beauty space, the tech space. He's got a background in a lot, but he's really good at honing in on marketing. Give 3 tips for marketing at people at home. What are your best 3 marketing tips in 30 seconds?
Best 3 marketing tips: know your brand, know your client, and know what you're trying to say to them. Right? Literally down to the T. And the reason why is most of the time people are. The thing I always say to tell people is like, are you talking to people for them to understand, or are you talking to people for them just to talk to them? Because a lot of people will sit there and say a lot of different things, but if you don't know your audience, then you don't know the style of technique that you're supposed to say it to them. If you don't know your brand, then you don't know what you're actually trying to portray to them.
Yes. Right? We've also worked at sales. Three sales tips for people at home, especially for people that just starting out, right? You can get a lot of new personal trainers.
Yeah.
So quick note, he has multiple personal trainers.
Yeah.
They do 1099 contracts, work out of his gyms, multiple gyms, and like they're just starting off. What's 3 quick tips for somebody like that?
Even though it's sales, right? When it comes to sales, I don't believe in just pulling that sale. I rather, and I tell every single trainer, is plant seeds, right? Plant seeds and show value without asking for anything in return, right? Over deliver. And just basically what you're doing is you're giving them value, and when the time is right, and those are 2 things, right? Plant seeds, bring value, and when the time is right, you ask for the sale.
Yeah.
When it's mutually beneficial, then you ask for the sale.
It's kind of like Gary Vee and Hermosi. They
Yeah.
talk about that.
Because if I come to you and I'm planting a seed, but you haven't seen the value yet, and I ask you for the sale in the very beginning, it's not mutually beneficial, right? So what's going to happen in that particular partnership or in that particular sale? It's going to be very short-lived.
Right.
But if I sit there and I'm giving you value, and it's in your head that you're like, wow, I'm getting a lot of information. This person is very knowledgeable, and let's say, for instance, at that time you're like, I want to do a change in my life. I want to get better. I want to get more fit. And you actually bring that to me, and you're telling me, and I'm listening, and you tell me what you're trying to do in the fitness space. Like, I want to get fit in strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
You're an expert at that, right? So if someone says that, you're gonna be like, I'm the person for you then.
Yes.
Right? Because that's my specialty. Right now, it's mutually beneficial. Why? Because you want strength and conditioning, I can provide that to you.
Right.
And then the seeds that you've been planting, that builds the trust over time.
Right.
So when you ask for that sale, and you're asking for it, they have already built the trust and rapport with you.
Yes.
So then it doesn't sound like a sale.
Right.
And that's the key part. A sale shouldn't sound like a sale. It should just sound like, well, we aligned ourselves to a position where both of it is mutually beneficial, and we're both going to benefit, right?
Right.
Because you want my time, and I want you to pay me for my time.
You get the results you want.
Yeah.
So the alignment's good.
Yeah, alignment's huge. It's over, like, alignment's huge.
But I always say it's AAA. AAA strategy. Get alignment first, then take action, then make small adjustments around the course to get to where you want to be.
Yeah. And it's funny that we talk about alignment. Like this year, a lot of big things. I mean, the next year right now, I've been working with a series of individuals, building the team, all of this year, right? And when I say building, is like getting to know them, like working in smaller projects with them to kind of really understand how they work as an individual. So then we're starting to feel each other out, we're aligning, and now I know like where their skill sets are at, right? And as we're bringing new things into market, I'm like, this is perfect. You're the person I need in this team. You're the person I need. And it becomes the alignment and now it's mutually beneficial because why? They bring some kind of value, competition, or they bring a skill set that I don't have, and I can match them with a skill set that they don't have. So then together we can actually build this, really grow it. Because if I had everybody's skill set, I'd just be a jack of all trades, you know, right? And not really be an expert of anything.
So with that being said, you ran a lot of companies, built businesses. What's the number one business decision you made in your life?
What's the number one
Business decision you made? What's the number one business decision you made?
like the one that always like it always comes up, or
More so, the best one you made, keep it dead. So it could be like starting a certain company or in the company.
well, it's tough because here's the thing. For me, if you're a serial entrepreneur, your last good decision was always your best decision. Does that make sense? Like, because I'm always gonna get better. So at any one point that I'm making a decision, that decision is the best decision of my life.
It's a nugget.
Does that make sense?
That's
like,
a nugget.
yeah, because every single time, like say for instance, my decision in 2015
Yeah.
is not going to be as skilled of a decision as the one I just made last 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Because all that skill set, all the lessons that I learned, it made the decision of 2 months ago that much better.
Right.
Right? Because now that's why, like, if you really think about it, that's how you're stacking, right?
Yeah.
That's how I think about it because I'm always gonna get better. So as long as I'm always gonna get better and I'm always at tip top shape when it comes like in utilizing every aspect and every tool that I have to my ability, like tool meaning mentorship, people around me, if I'm building the strongest team, if I have all these different things, every decision that I make, it's going to be the best decision ever. Because I'm going to do it with my most care
Yeah.
and my focus and my skill sets at that time. And so if I'm going to be the best version of myself every day, then it builds from there.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So when you're building everything that you got going on, you have like multiple companies. They say the average millionaire has what, 7 streams of income?
Yeah.
How do you get to that point? Like,
Okay, so here's something. Even though it's 7 streams of income, I don't believe in having 7 different random businesses. I don't really believe in that.
yeah.
I truly believe in you pouring all your efforts into one really big one,
Yeah.
and then that folds it or like kind of spills over to other things. So you have to be really, really good at one thing, right? In one really big business. So here's my thing. I'm really, really good at the marketing and the operational side when it comes to health and fitness, right? So marketing, health, and fitness is like my main thing. And that's the category that I've been in, right? So then how that spilled over was now I like have a logistics company, but my logistic company, it ships out only muscle supplements and health and beauty products, right? Because all my clients, why do I stand out from like another fulfillment center? It's because I can speak their language.
Right.
I can go into their business and go, well, you know, you should put the box that way. You shouldn't send it this way. And I go, why? Because I was like, that doesn't make the customer feel a certain way. It's all about emotions. If you're going to sell this, you need to, you know, X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and it's the same thing when it comes to like going into the gym space. It's in health and fitness. So when I'm talking to individuals of how to like market themselves, it's still in the same space. It kind of is, it's not just kind of same space, but it is the same space, same industry, same verticals, right? You're just changing the product here like slightly.
Right.
But I
Makes
use
sense.
the same skill set.
Right.
So I've always been around there. And
You know what makes me think about what you're just saying? What they said, like the CEO of BP Oil and Gas, they said he first started at pumping the gas.
Yeah.
Then he went to the next step, and then he continued on because he had to figure out the base roots
Yeah.
and understand the language and the lingo to get to where he wanted to be.
Well, that's how my business partner and my mentor, that's how he started all his like all his businesses. So his businesses, how he started was, in a nutshell, he every single time there was something that cost him money, he looked at how to make it better. So let's say, for instance, he marketed something and it was very slow in shipping. He looked at how to start a logistics shipping company to make it faster.
That's smart.
Yeah, right. And so and then the next one was, wait, now the call center is like horrible because the call center you call over to like India, whatever it is, I don't know, it's just a different country, and I'm losing the sale. My sale is $200, $300, $400 worth of the ticket, and the customer service is not doing well because they can't answer the questions. So from that, he opened up call centers that supported that, right? So that was very specifically to that. And so then it became chargeback companies and, like all these other, basically vertically integrated. He found all his pain points and created a company that supported that or that fixed that problem. He was a problem solver. He fixed that problem. And that's how he grew every single particular
what you're doing.
Yeah. And so that's how I kind of look at it. I take that. He's my mentor.
Yeah.
To this day, he's my mentor. And then the funny thing is we all live next door to each other. That's what we all moved over here in Orange County, and we all live next door to each other. There's probably 8 houses over there.
Wow.
All the wives teach. They're all together. They're all best friends.
Real housewives of entrepreneurs.
Yes. It's actually the funny thing is, it takes a very strong wife and female to really just put up with the crap that an entrepreneur actually goes through.
I actually had that down. That's a question. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because why I say it's funny is like if you start to go into like these coalitions or like these high level professional groups and clubs, one of the biggest things is to bring in your significant other, because the amount of sacrifice sometimes, the amount of like I guess like mental power or the mental capacity that has to go into it to build a company up from scratch or to get it to a certain level, it's very straining on the family.
Yes.
Right? And so it is very it's not the easiest task. It takes a very strong individual to be a significant other of a serial entrepreneur, because they have to juggle multiple things.
And that's why you wanted to get established first. That's why you waited till.
Yeah, because the great thing is my wife she is also, like in some of the business, she's also a business partner of mine. But also at the same time, my wife understands the level of sacrifice sometimes it needs to, but also she knows how to balance that out to know how to ask me or I put that in front of me of when I need to turn that off.
Yeah.
And then turn and be the good husband and be the good father that I want to be.
So is
right?
finding your wife or partner, is that a business decision?
It's a funny way to put it, but it is. I think it's one and the same. I think because to me, finding the right business partner is a relationship thing.
Yes.
Right? It's just as much as you dating. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So finding the right significant other as your wife, your husband, it's the same thing, right? And there's not one of my business partners where their wife is not like a staple of the household. Yeah. It's so funny. It's because when I say it's so funny, it's like we literally joke about this all the time. We are the CEO of our business, and when we get home, they are the CEO of the house. Like down to the T.
Yeah.
Like they tell me, like my wife gives me orders, right? And I don't do that, and I don't take these orders out of fear or anything like that. Yeah. It is out of respect.
Yeah.
Right? It is out of respect, and then also you have to understand, we're aligned. She is my North Star.
Yeah. And
because she's going to tell me when, like, hey, if your purpose is for your family, right, then pay attention to your family.
Yeah. Right?
Because a lot of people get confused about, like, they go, this is, I hear this all the time. And it's a very funny way of thinking about it. They go, why do you work so hard? I want to provide for my family. Okay, provide what? Right? And they go, well, provide, security and all this other stuff. But you're not there. So here's your what you're balancing is, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because a lot of people.
So you're saying like sometimes they're physically there, but they're not.
No, they're not physically. Yeah, they're physically there, but they're not mentally there.
Yeah, they're not on their feet up.
Yeah, and so how many times have you heard that? How many times have you heard the situation where, somebody that's super, super wealthy, but their kids they're still not having a strong family?
Well, the nanny's taking care of them.
Exactly.
You see that in Orange County too.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, so what's the purpose of
You
that?
literally will see a white baby and then a Hispanic nanny. I'm like, oh, that doesn't match.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because the nanny's taking care of
But
them.
see, then now that's the confusion, right? That's the confusion. Then why are you telling a story? Why does the businessman or the CEO tell that story? I do this for my family. Are you really? Right? So if it's truly for your family, how do you do that for your family?
Yeah.
Right?
Good point.
Because you can go to the family. So like, I always sit there and say this: the judge of how good you are is who you're trying to do service for. So if you say, I do this for my family, the people that should judge you is your family. You should actually
They get to
solicit
be the judges.
Yeah, you should solicit them. What do you want as my family? You want my time? You want more monetary? Like, what do you want? And you would be surprised at basically the feedback, the answers.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, 100%.
Because you're gonna ask them, and you're gonna be like, well, what do you want from me? And 9 out of 10 times, if you're doing well, your kids will be like, oh, I want you home.
Yeah.
They never sit there and be like, I want.
Right.
I
I want
this-
your time.
Yeah, they always want the time.
That's why I say, like, time is love. And your kids just want your time.
Yeah.
So you can show them true love. Well, I could sit here and talk to you all day. This is the Keep Going podcast. I want to kind of know what keeps you going in every facet of life. It can be business, it can be personally, relationships. What keeps you going? Your business is going, your family.
What keeps me going is purpose, right? And purpose in different aspects of it. So purpose has always been my family, right? And in my life, my biggest shift was when I truly understood that. And when I say family, and it started off with my sister and mother, because it wasn't like, my purpose was not like for the title. Like, I wasn't trying to just be called or be looked at as like, oh, you're a good brother or you're a good son, right? It was more like I said, on their level of gauge, what makes me good? What do they want?
They get to be the judge.
They get to be the judge. So I'm always talking to them. I'm talking to my mom, like, what makes me a good son? Like, what do you want from me? And the funny thing is, like, it is the relationship side of things, right? And that's what keeps me going. That really keeps me going. And that's become kind of a staple throughout all different aspects, right? When it comes to like being there and building a relationship with my wife, building a relationship with my kids, building a relationship with my business partners on that level, and then also friends,